Welcome back to Hall of Fame College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins. And if you love college football, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of the Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. This is the first of two live streams that I will be doing tonight. The coach will be in here shortly as we get into a few things. But right now, we are going to go with part two of our Big 12 preview as we dive into the conference newbies, BYU, Houston, Cincinnati, and UCF, along with legacy member Oklahoma State. And I am joined by the host and star of Locked On Oklahoma State, who just yesterday reached his 1,000th YouTube subscriber. I would like for everybody to welcome and congratulate our friend, Mr. Cody Stovall of Locked On Oklahoma State. What's up, Cody?
What's going on, buddy?
How you doing, man?
Just, I'm doing well. Feeling good about where we are and feeling good about the Big 12 in general, man. I'm pretty excited.
Hey, man, I'm super happy for you getting that 1,000. I know you got your 2,000th subscriber on your audio platform just about a month ago or so ago. Isn't that about right? And,
yeah.
So you've been killing it, man. I just wanted to congratulate you on that. We also would like to congratulate Bomber Nathan Bomber Brown from BYU, the Big 12 Mafia Holy Rivals podcast as well. He's going to help us break down some of these newbies as well. Listen, Bomber, we've been really enjoying your program lately. You and the Wild U are killing it, along with Immaculate and Moen as well. You guys have just been killing it on this realignment stuff. But today we're going to have you talk a little bit about your BYU team. And Norman wants into the picture here. So
I also want to congratulate Cody. That's awesome, Cody, getting that subscriber. Get that monetization taken care of, bro. And it's all running downhill after that.
We're working.
All right,
excellent.
You're gonna have to get down, buddy. All right. Too heavy to be in my lap right now. Okay. Thanks everybody else for showing up in here. What's up? Let's go, Sean. Thanks for showing up. Chicken, our boy. Hey man. Hope you're feeling better, Chicken. I know with that he had a freaking ruptured appendix, man, last week. So hoping you're getting to feeling better. I mean, you're in here in the comment section, so I'm glad to see you in there. So but hope you're feeling better. And he says congratulations to you, Cody, as well. So yeah. Hey man, it's a big deal. It's a big deal, man. We're excited. We're excited for you, man. And you definitely work your tail off. So it couldn't happen to a better person.
Thank you, sir.
Anyway. Yeah. All right. So getting into this a little bit about the new Big 12, which is getting newer. As we know, they just added another 4 teams from Brokeback Mountain. So they'll be bringing in Arizona State, and Utah to go along with those Colorado Buffaloes who had decided it a little over, about a week and a half ago that they would be entering the Big 12 as well. The Big 12 lives. Looks like the Pac-12 dies unless they somehow do merge up with, I guess there's some talk out there. We'll get into some of that a little bit on the show later. But right now, we want to break down 2023. It's almost here, folks. We are at till week 0. We're at about 18, 19 days right now. So we're getting close, man. I'm so excited. Cannot wait for this season to start. I know you guys are feeling the same. And Bomber, how you feeling about first year in the Big 12, man?
I could not be more excited. You know, I'm 53 next month, and my entire life, right? BYU has been the unappreciated outside the P5, the guys who snuck in and stole a championship in '84. I've been sort of the redheaded stepchild my whole life, but I tell you what, once we got into the Big 12, and I don't want to divert from your show, but really quick, this is a note to all the Big 12. The moment BYU was accepted, we started interacting with people online. And the respect that everybody has for BYU, even though they hadn't been in that P5 conference this whole time, is enormous. And I cannot understate how important that is. The Big 12 has been so accepting, and the the sense of belonging that we've sort of gotten restored to us is amazing. And so this is a landmark year for us. We'll see how we do. We could win 6 games or we win 10. Who the hell knows? But it'll be fun. That's all we know.
Well, we know where your ceiling and your floor is right here. So, okay.
That's my ceiling and floor.
Yeah. Well, listen, and I got to tell you, when it comes to BYU, and we'll talk a little bit more about this in a bit, but I as I told you when I was at Big 12 Media Days, and I've already had a tremendous amount of respect for Kalani Sitake, but
right,
I even gained a new respect for him. I mean, he just, you couldn't knock that smile off of his face when he was there talking about bringing his club into this conference,
right,
the bump that it had already given them in recruiting. Just feeling that acceptance and, getting to even that part of it, coaching against Sark for a year. I know I don't know if they're going to end up playing each other or not, but knowing that him and Sark are old buddies and stuff like that, because of course Sark played quarterback there at BYU. So
right, they were on that 96 team that won the Cotton Bowl and the first NCAA tournament win to 14 wins. The first school to ever do it was BYU.
Oh wow, okay. Hey, listen, and I tell you, it's it was just a lot of fun seeing it, and it's hard not to respect them. I mean,
right.
They just seem to. I mean, they got a winning record against Oklahoma. They've beaten them both times they've played them. Hopefully they'll get it. And I watched them beat the brakes off of Texas one time.
Right. Yeah. So, as long as Taysom Hill's running out the flag in Austin this year, they're going to win again.
Taysom Hill, man, that was so awesome.
Yeah, he's a stud.
So. And definitely, and as Chicken says, they did definitely. You guys have earned your respect, and for having to wait as long, I think that it's been said a lot over the past week since the whole Pac-12, shuttering, basically that their own hubris did them in a little bit. That's something I've got a column that I'm almost done with. It's going to be part of our member content there. But it's just going to be kind of talking a little bit about that. But a lot of it there was a lot of folks that said that it would have been a perfect fit for the Pac-12 years ago.
Stuart Mandel wrote an article very critical of the Pac-12, not picking them up. When Utah and Colorado came in, BYU would have been the first choice, but politics and identity and religion and it just didn't work out. So Big 12 is the best part.
More than anything, I think it was a little probably a little jealousy and not wanting to take any shine off of their schools that weren't really shining so much at that point. But Cody, where are you at okay, so we're going to start off with Cincinnati now, just to kind of get into some of this stuff. But folks, if you haven't hit that like button, please do that. I know we don't have a ton of folks in here just yet. But I expect that we'll fill up a little bit. You can always become a member of the channel if you haven't already. Sean, you'll troll you. You should become a member. Then you can troll us in Discord and everywhere else. Hey, make sure to check out that official podcast merchandise in our SUC line. It's so awesome, man. It's that's just one of those things. You should have an SUC shirt, no matter who you're a fan of, because everybody that knows that Tony Altimore and freaking that little knucklehead Tim are SC guys. So, SUC. Here we go. Anyway, Artie Lang. Why is Mike Gundy afraid of the Bedlam game? Yeah, we don't have to get into that right now, but I think we know why. But all right, Cody, you're awfully quiet for Cody Stovall, which is weird to me.
I'm just I was just waiting until we get into it. So you wanted to get into Cincinnati, man. I like Cincinnati. I do. I don't think they're going to have the depth, right? They're just not going to have the depth. But from a starter perspective, everybody saw what Emory Jones was possibly capable of at Florida, and then Arizona State, right? He was kind of a lone ranger there. So going to Cincinnati, I think it's pretty cool. I really like Evan Prater, which is their backup quarterback. I think he's a sophomore now. They've been pretty high on him, and they're playing at wide receiver right now, which is kind of ironic to me because they've got a couple big-time wide receivers like D. Wiggins, another guy who transferred. I think D. Wiggins went from Louisville to Miami to obviously, he found his home now. Xavier Henderson was another transfer from Florida. Donovan Ali is another transfer. And then they've got that running back from LSU, Corey Kiner. And then their backup running back is a guy that they've had for a while, in Miles Montgomery. I think they have a lot of talent. They're going to have a lot of, ability to score. From a defensive perspective, I know they've got that 6th-year outside linebacker that's obviously going to be pretty helpful, and that Dorian Jones or James guy. But, yeah, man, offensively, I think they should be pretty fun.
Now, what about their new quarterback? You were talking about him a little bit. Give us the story on him, because I know he's a transfer guy, right? And
Emory Jones?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the guy who started as a freshman at Florida and then transferred from Florida to Arizona State last year. And he was kind of all by his lonesome, right? Taking the Arizona State flag and trying to run with it. It just, he wanted a better opportunity. I think Cincinnati is a better opportunity. I really didn't know that it would be a foregone conclusion that he would push Evan Prater out of there, because Evan Prater is, I think, their highest rated or second highest rated quarterback recruit in the history of their program. But I've been seeing that they've moved their backup quarterback, Evan Prater, to play some wide receiver right now, even though they're pretty good at wide receiver and they're pretty good at running back. Their offensive line, it's not like UCF's offensive line by any stretch of the imagination. So that's where they're potentially going to have some issues, and obviously defensively.
Well, yeah, and of course they did go last year. They started off the year and ended up at, and obviously you had Luke Fickell. A year after going into the playoff, they did have a bit of a letdown this past season, going 9-4, but they finished 6-2 in the AAC. They did lose to Louisville in the Wasabi Fenway Bowl, but Scott Satterfield, to me, he's certainly not Luke Fickell, right?
No.
And with Luke, I always felt like he kind of got screwed out of the Ohio State job, being the interim head coach, doing very well that year that he got to coach them, and then they kind of kicked him away. When he took over at Cincy, it just seems like they just got better and better. And it's not as if they were bad anyway. They've had some pretty good coaches in there, Tommy Tuberville, and of course before that, our boy down at LSU.
Brian Kelly.
Brian Kelly. Yes. So they've had a list of really good coaches that have come through there. Cincinnati is not a program that you can take lightly, I don't think, in any stretch. But Satterfield seems to kind of be he was a little better when he was more. It didn't seem like he did a whole lot at Louisville to me. Of course, they did beat Cincy at the end of the year, but
it was a weird deal, because that was one of those positions that a lot of people across the country were saying that he was going backwards, right? He was purposely stepping to a lower job. I never necessarily saw that. I never saw Louisville as much bigger than Cincinnati. So I thought, I think that was a ridiculous sentiment. And I think Satterfield does have something to prove, but it's taken Oklahoma State X amount of years to get a legitimate 2-deep O-line, D-line that can compete with the OUs and the Texases of the world on a snap-in, snap-out basis. Cincinnati's not there. They're not going to be there for a couple years, I don't think.
Right. Yeah, check it out. I do remember Emory now. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, okay, forgot about that. I had forgotten about that, though, too. For some reason, I thought that they still had, what's his name playing in there in that game. But, yeah, okay, so let's go through their schedule a little bit and just kind of look through. I think the first game you would expect that they're going to beat Eastern Kentucky. They should beat Miami as well. Game 3, they get to host for their first Big 12 game of all time, the Oklahoma Sooners. I'm giving them an L there. Go ahead. What do you think, guys? L's for you guys as well?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Yep.
I think the week after that, they're going to catch another one on the road at BYU. I would suspect that, it should be – you might have a pretty fun game there, but I think that overall that's early in the year. BYU's probably coming in at 3-0 right there. I'm guessing that place is going to be jumping, right, Palmer?
Yeah, it's going to be the first home game in the Big 12. Kansas is the week before. So I think that Kansas game is going to be tough. They'll probably lose that one.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that. Okay, so they could be coming in with a loss. So, okay.
Yeah, but Cincinnati, I really think he's going to run into a buzzsaw. It's early fall in the Mountain West. I just hope that it's not a complete blowout because I don't want to embarrass anybody the first time out.
Oh,
But
yes,
BYU
you
could
do.
put 45.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna say BYU wins by 14 plus.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. All right. Cool. So now we've got them at 2-2, going into a home game against Iowa State. Well, you know what? I guess I'm going to go with Cincy here because I'm not sure who they're going to be playing at quarterback at Iowa State or if they're going to have a team. I don't know what's going on over there right now. We may have to get into that a little bit more whenever we dive into them coming up here on the next episode. But yeah, I'll go with Cincy there because I think Iowa State may be in trouble. I think their defense is going to be fine because it always is. The concern is they weren't great at quarterback last year with the guy that, and listen, I think that he looked like he was going to be a good player. But yeah, this gambling stuff, you can't have it. And I don't know that he's going to be in the game. So if he's not, you have to expect that. I would go with Cincy there. They are at home. What do you guys think?
I got Cincy for sure.
Yeah, I think you have to start giving them some of these games. You're right. I mean, they're not going to go 2-10. So
right.
Iowa's going to have a tough road, I think.
Yeah, I think Iowa State's in trouble if you don't get Hunter back. If they don't end up playing him, and I don't know what's going to end up happening. I mean, they've got felony charges on him, so there's no telling.
Yeah, he's in trouble too.
And I don't think Hunter Deckers is all that great anywho.
Well, I think he showed signs that he could have been last year, but it's something that I asked Campbell during Big 12 Media Days. I said, look, I mean, we know you can play defense. At what point are you guys going to put it together offensively? I mean, even when they had Brees, and they just weren't that great offensively still. They've got NFL bona fide stars that were there together, still. I don't know. There's just something going on there, and he even said he admitted it. That they got to be better there. I think he may have banged his head on the ceiling at Iowa State, though. Do you, Cody? I mean, I think it's just a tough place to win.
I don't know, man. I think he can. They can't afford setbacks, and it looks like they're going backwards.
That's kind of what I'm saying. Is that like at a place like that, it's a tough place to. Just kind of
you got to capitalize. Done, right? You got to capitalize on momentum when you have it.
Right. Okay. The next week, so it'll be Baylor coming to town the week after that. I feel like Baylor's probably. I mean, I know coach is down on them, and I wasn't super impressed with Dave Aranda at Big 12 Media Days. I thought that it was awfully rah-rah. It was awfully rah-rah and not a lot of answering questions. The question I think that's going on with Baylor is going to be Blake Shapen. We talked about that on the last episode of this Big 12 preview. Just not sure that they're going to be great, but I'm going to go ahead with Baylor here. I think that since the depth is going to be a problem there. And one thing we know about Dave Aranda's teams is he can expose an offense that if you're struggling at all, he will find that weakness and exploit it. So I'm going to go with Baylor there, even on the road. What do you guys think?
I'm going to go with Baylor. I'm going to go with Baylor too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we have them at now 3-3. 3-3. That's right for you there, Bomber? 3-3?
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
I agree. Yeah.
All right. The next week at Oklahoma State. Trip to Stillwater. The question was asked on Twitter earlier today, is Stillwater the toughest place in the Big 12 to play? I think it can be sometimes. It's certainly probably going to be a tough place for them to walk into the first time that they walk in there. They won't get the greatest welcome. I'm going to go with the Pokes here. I think that's a tough ask. Even though I'm not sure that I believe in the Pokes as much as Cody does, I am going to go with the Pokes here. That puts them at 3 or 4 for me. What do you guys think? Obviously, Cody, I think I know where you're going.
Yeah, I got Oklahoma State as well.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I think you can look at it logically, right? We know the 2 deep is going to be a concern. Look at that, right? Week 1, great. Week 2, great. Week 3, OU's going to beat you up. Then you got to get beat up physically by grown ass men at BYU. Then you got to, that's one thing we just talked about. Iowa State's defense is always a hot commodity. So they're going to get beat up again. And they might be good enough to beat Baylor. But dude, that's just so many weeks straight of getting your tail kicked that depth by the Oklahoma State game will be massive. That's the same reason I don't think they beat Baylor. If their 2 deep is entirely intact, I say they beat Baylor. I just don't think it will be.
Right. And I think that it's kind of what we're about to talk about here in a few minutes. When we get to talking about, I think the overall part of it for idiot, and I even think this is going to be an issue for BYU. You're just not used to getting up for these power schools, Power 5 programs week after week after week.
Right.
When you've been in the AAC, you get Army some weeks, and you get, and not to kill Army or Navy and these guys, but you're going to get those kind of schools. And Tulane up until this past season was, it's a cupcake game. Temple, it's a tough, you're going to have get right games, stuff like that. There's just not that many of them in the Big 12, particularly right now. This is a tough conference. I think it's going to be hard for all of the 4 teams as we're going to get through this. But I'm not saying that it's going to always be that way, but I think that first year of adjustment, it could be hard for everybody, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. There's not even a question. Yeah, I think the depth coming into the play, BYU is better prepared than any of them to be, because they've been playing. They won they won the Pac-12 2 years ago, so they beat every team in the Pac-12 South, and it wasn't even really close. So the teams are just going to run into trouble. You get into late October, early November, as you guys know it. That's the hardest part of the season, and you might start off good, but you're going to run into depth issues. It's math at that point.
Yeah, I think you're right. And again, I just we'll get into UCF in a minute, but okay, they're the next team on the schedule. I think it might be their get right game there if they're going to have one. But then again, this is a battle in that conference. This has been a battle for them. I think it's one of their biggest rivals in the conference, particularly over the last couple of years. I will go with I'm going to go with UCF here. I don't know what we're going to go through their schedule here in just a second, but I still feel like, again, it just feels like one of those times that, maybe that I think I agree with you with what you were saying, Cody, is that they're just kind of running out of juice here at this point. And if you've now gone through 5 losses in a row, or 5 out of your last 6, it's tough. So I could see them losing that game. It's a coin flip game for me. I don't really know. Again, this is an AAC game, so it could be anything, and it is there in Cincinnati. So it's a coin flip, but I'll go with UCF just to stick with the what we've been doing. You guys, what do you think?
I think I actually got UCF here.
Okay.
I think they're going to win 1 or 2 road games, and this is, I think, one they're going to get.
Okay. You got UCF.
Give me the Bearcats on this one, fellas.
Okay. All right. So Cody's got it. So it'd be 3 and 4 on Cody's side. Me and Bomber are still at 3 and 5. Okay. Now, next game. Another one on the road at Houston. Houston, who, of course, we're going to go into them next, did beat them last year, I believe. But, Houston, I don't think much of Houston, but I do think that they're at home here. They probably get the win. Now, you know what? I'm going with Satterfield and them on this one. I'm gonna go with Cincy on the road in this one. I think that there's a chance that Dana may be gone by now.
Yeah.
I think that Dana could be gone by now. If you see what you saw in the freaking Kansas game last year happen, anything like that in that first few weeks, and they start looking like they did at that point, I think that it could happen real quick, right? And I don't know that he's got a long leash at this point, nor should he, nor should he. But
right.
What do you guys think?
I got Cincinnati.
Okay.
Yeah. Give me the Bearcats there.
Okay.
And then the next two, I think they lose. Just when I cut to the chase, I think.
Pretty easy. Yeah, they're on the road at West Virginia,
Yeah,
and then they
no
play host to Jalen Daniels preseason.
Right.
Big 12
who's
MVP.
at the time in the last game of the season, he is going to be trying to get ready for the draft, right? So he's going to be moving on. So I think Kansas could really lay it to him.
They could. And look, and as Hank is saying here, Houston has the ex-Tech quarterback. They do. And actually I thought he was better than the one that they kept. So myself, Cody, I know you kind of talked about that a little bit going into it before he transferred out. I'm not exactly sure why he chose Houston, but look, they definitely have the quarterback advantage in that, right? I think that we'll find out kind of what happens, but you don't think Dana's going anywhere, huh, Chicken? Since he wins. Yeah. You got Cincy. Okay. Yeah, that's what I got too. I don't know. I just think that Houston I think they're doomed. I just do think they're doomed.
Yeah, they do have Donovan Smith. But the irony there is, man, Donovan Smith probably went to Houston because he thought that he was going to be the certified, bona fide, day one, starter.
I don't think that's the way it's going, is it?
I'm sorry?
Is that the way it's going, or in Houston?
Well, no. That the Arkansas transfer, Lucas Coley, is legitimately pushing him. They still haven't named a starter. Okay. I don't think it's smoke and mirrors. From what I'm hearing, Lucas Coley's legitimately pushing Donovan Smith. So is Lucas Coley that good, or is Donovan Smith maybe just a little overrated at Texas Tech? I don't know. We're going to find out. That's for sure. But yeah, no, that Coley kid's right there, neck and neck with Donovan Smith. So we shall see.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought that it seemed like to me like Donovan was the better of the guys that played last year. So that was just me. But yeah, okay. Yeah. All right. Well, so that puts them at losing the last two. That would be 4-8 on the season. According to ours, Cody would have them at 5-7. But 4-8, 5-7. That's actually not a terrible record for what I would have expected coming in. But 4-8, 5. I mean, it isn't good. It's what about where you would probably expect a team that's coming into a Power 5 conference out of an AAC.
Yeah. If Fickle had stuck around, he's worth 3 more wins, I think.
Absolutely.
Right? I think you have to. This is not a bad team, and Cincinnati's going to be good. But losing your coach, the guy who got you to a playoff spot, that's just ripping the heart out of your team. So
right, and I think the guys that he really liked at Cincy are at Wisconsin now.
Right.
I think that's clear. Yeah. So and why wouldn't they be? It's just like anywhere else. That's just going to be kind of how it goes. I'm anxious to kind of see what they do up there in that Phil Longo offense. In the Big Ten, but we'll see. All right, will be the starting quarterback according to Dana. Mentioned that last week. Did he? I hadn't seen that part. Okay, cool. Well, I thought it was a competition, but all right, cool.
Yeah, I mean, if it ends up being Donovan Smith,
I think he's a good athlete, man. The guy could play, right?
Yes. I liked him at Tech a lot.
Yeah, I did too.
I thought he would have won the job over Lucas Coley, almost day one.
Well, the one thing, and I mean, obviously, you got to remember that it isn't exactly the same offense, although it's pretty much it is. I guess it's pretty similar. It's all air raid.
I'm sure from a conceptualized processing standpoint, I'm sure it's pretty similar.
But I know that also, as much as Dana worked with Coach Leach, he also worked with Coach Gundy, which he doesn't run the air raid exactly. You know what I mean? He's got his own little things that he did that was his little wrinkles on it. It wasn't the exact same jargon or anything like that either. So, and I would say that, Gundy's offense is definitely one of the better ones that I've seen over the last 20 years. He can definitely put an offense together. But And I think that Dana kind of adopted some of that as well. So there's probably, maybe he had a little trouble adjusting to certain things or something like that. But I think overall, once you get in there and get into competition, maybe that's it. So hopefully, we'll see what happens. But yeah. Anyway, all right. So let's move on to the next team, and we'll go with. We're going to go to Houston. Go bigger again here. Houston, of course, last season, as we said, they went 8-5, 5-3 in the AAC. Had a couple of getting by the skin of their teeth games. That UTSA game, they really should have lost that one, I felt like. And I think that they get them at home this year, but I think that's a possible loss. UTSA has won the Conference USA now 2 years in a row, and they are. Is it 3 years in a row? UTSA is getting it done. I'm continue to wonder how long it's going to be until Jeff Traylor's out of there, and on to a new job, like maybe Oklahoma State. I don't know. I'm sorry. Not sorry.
Not if we win 10-11 games, buddy.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. All right. So game one at Houston Cougars. You know what? They almost had them at they should have had them last year. They're in San Antonio. I know what's going on the road at Houston. Listen, we saw what happened in that Kansas game. They came apart completely, mentally, everything else. I think that, I would hope that that's not necessarily the case, but I don't think that you have a lot of room for movement if you're Dana Holgorsen if you lose this game. I am going to go with UTSA. They've got a lot of their guys coming back. They're the two-time defending champions, at least out of that conference. I don't know. I'm going with UTSA here. I'm gonna go a little crazy and go with UTSA. Gentlemen.
I like UTSA. In fact, I think UTSA in 5 years, could be challenging for that if they still exist at the time. That automatic berth if there's a group of 5, right? It's Texas. They recruit well. BYU played them recently, and they were not embarrassed. And so I think they've got something going there. So yeah, I if they're going to get one, I think they could definitely get one against Houston.
Okay. Cody?
I like UTSA a lot. I think they're actually probably the better team, but I think that somehow the Fighting Danas get her did. I go Houston here.
The Fighting Danas get her did.
Is that what we're going to call them? Is the Fighting Danas?
I like it. Well,
that's a good name.
We can't call them Cougars, can we? If we're gonna, you got the BYU. Who's the Cougar? That's what Chicken's asking. Who's the Cougar?
This was made clear to me. It's Cougs.
The Cougs.
It's the Houston Cougs with 2 O's. So
okay.
Whatever.
Well, when it gets to basketball season, they're gonna rule the roost there. So when it comes,
there's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. That is a fact check.
Yeah, they're very good, very good. All right, so yeah, 2 for UTSA, 1 for the Cougs, and we'll move on to game 2 at Rice. That's Houston.
Yeah,
Rice is trash. Same with you guys. Good.
Yeah,
good.
Yeah. I don't even know what you do.
Then they will host. They will play host to TCU. That's a loss. So they are now 1 and 2 for me.
Let's just keep going.
Yeah. Okay.
No, they beat TCU there.
They do.
That is crazy. That is absolute lunacy.
So that means that TCU will start 1 and 2 because
that is insane.
In game 1. They're going to lose to CU.
That is crazy.
Hey, we can pull this receipt. All right, that's Houston right there.
Pull it. All right, pull it.
Oh,
all right.
God.
So good grief. All right, so you've got
Cougs.
So that's 2 wins for them. I've got them at 1 and 2. You've got them at 2 and 1. All right, moving on. Sam Houston at Houston. That's going to be Houston.
Barely, but Houston will win.
Yeah. Okay. 2-2. You got them at 3-1, and you're saying barely winning.
That's
All
right.
Houston at Texas Tech. This is a loss.
Yeah.
Go.
I got my BYU Texas Tech tickets, by the way. That's going to be a good game.
Yes, it is.
I can't wait.
All right, so no argument there. West Virginia at Houston. That is a win for Houston in my book.
West Virginia at home?
At Houston.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I definitely think Houston can win that.
I think Dana finds a way to Dana this thing up here, and West Virginia gets her deal.
I love how he's turned the word Dana into a verb.
So
it's no longer a name.
You've got him beating TCU, Danaing TCU, but then getting Dana'd.
Yep. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
All right, guys, y'all can give him a hard time, right? Yeah, can't lose to food, even though they have JT Daniels. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we'll allow it. We'll allow it, even though that's a Josh Pay-ism, but we'll allow it. All right. Okay, so what does that make them then? They've got
it makes them ready to beat Texas.
L1, L1, 2. Okay, yeah. Texas at Houston. They're not beating Texas. Come on, they're not beating Texas. So you got Texas?
I didn't say anything.
I got Texas.
Okay,
I got Texas.
Yeah, it's got to be Texas.
Bunch of L's here. K-State's going to beat the crap out of them at K-State.
Yeah.
Baylor's going to beat the crap out of them in Waco.
Oh, come on, be honest. You know what's going to happen.
Beat the crap out of them. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's probably their last
go Baylor.
win.
I'll go Baylor.
Okay. And then Cincy, well, we already made that choice on the last one. So I had Cincy, so did Bomber.
Yeah.
So that's now what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 losses in a row. 7 if Okie Light gets it done. Which
Houston's gonna struggle.
I'm gonna say Houston here.
Against who?
Against Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State?
They're at home.
Oh my gosh.
I like Donovan Smith better than I like their quarterback.
It's madness, I say. That's madness.
It's just my poke at the pokes. That's all that is.
It's madness.
All right. Yeah, we'll be definitely talking about USC losing yet another recruit that had already committed there. That's 5 now that have decommitted from USC. Oh, SUC. Love it. SUC. All right.
Wait a second. From UCF? No, USC.
Lincoln's losing players.
Huh. Okay.
What's the Hey, we're going to talk about him here. Hey, be nice, Jay. Houston has to pull one of those games. Which game? They have to pull one of what games? The UCF game or the Oklahoma State game? Is that which one you're talking about? Yeah. Did you see what Chicken said? Okie Light getting Dana'd. I'm going to have to say that too. But okay, I think that they they don't beat UCF either. I think that they end up losing. Yeah, they probably lose 7, 8 in a row to finish off the year. Dana probably makes it through about 4 of those.
Probably,
yeah.
That feels about right.
Yeah, I've got them at about. I think they're going to go 3-9. That's what we got them at, 3-9.
I think what's their over under was 4, wasn't it? 4.5.
I believe
4.5. I think.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I would not bet the over on that.
No.
Dude would not bet the over.
No. I would.
All right. WVU or TCU? Yeah, you think they're going to beat one of them, Sean? Okay. Well, Cody agrees with you.
That's right.
In fact, he's got them winning both, or losing both. He's got Houston losing both of those games. So you've actually got them hitting the over.
Me?
Yeah.
5?
No, I have them at 4. Right?
We have them at 4. Okay, yeah, 4.5 is their number. Okay. All right, cool.
Insane here, please. No insanity.
You did.
Sorry,
open
it's
the
hard
door.
for me to take this seriously. Okay, keep
Yeah,
going.
listen, when we're using Dana as a verb, I love it. I do love it. This is just good stuff. This is good TV. All right. Let's go on. So now that's going to leave us to UCF. And let's just say this. I hope there's somebody from UCF in here. I think UCF is going to get their ass handed to them. I really do. Because the knuckleheads don't know when to shut up at all.
Yeah.
They're just struggling with that part, right? Here we go.
100%.
Yeah. So let me present that screen real quick. So let's talk a little bit about that. You had a guy on from UCF there, Cody. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about. They ended up at 9-5 last year. They lost games to Navy, definitely to Tulane, Temple as well, right? Is that am I right there? I'm pretty sure I am.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Yeah. So
yeah, man. I think they're. I don't know, man. I'm not that big of a believer in John Rice Plumlee personally. And then behind him, if they do lose John Rice Plumlee, he might be the most athletic quarterback in the Big 12. He probably is the most athletic quarterback in the Big 12. I get that. But behind him, it's like Timmy McClain or Xavier Williams, right? And I don't know, man. Mm-hmm. From a defensive perspective, Xavier Townsend's not all that impressive in my personal estimation. So I feel like they have some holes. They have some playmakers, sure, of course. The recruiting is really good. Like if you wanted to have a conversation about how good they're doing in recruiting, well, that would be great. Huh?
Yeah, finally. Okay.
Yeah, UCF is got like 6 or 7 4-star commits right now. So yeah, they're going to be good. I don't think John Rice Plumlee will run his way to a bunch of W's.
Right. And here's the thing. It's one thing to have a mobile quarterback like that, but I think what you end up running into, if you saw K-State ended up at one point, Adrian Martinez wasn't the answer anymore last year. He was in certain games. He was the answer against Oklahoma, but he wasn't the answer against Oklahoma State. And I think that they continued on, and obviously there was some injury stuff going on there with him as well. But to be honest with you, there came a point where you needed Will Howard in that game. Right, because he could throw it around. And so, when you get Will Howard in there, you see what they did to Oklahoma State. Look, bottom line is, to me, I think that it's one thing to be able to run around, though, but the guy can't throw. I could throw the ball further than this kid. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he can't throw it from here across the room. And I could throw
did you see he threw a really nice 54-yarder the other day on Twitter, and UCF made sure they kept pumping it out. That one throw, they kept pumping it out, and I was like,
well, okay. It did look like he was really getting just to get it out there. He was really rearing back. And here's the thing. Let's talk about what happened on your show, though. I mean, this guy comes in, and what's the first thing he says? He takes a shot at Oklahoma. We want Oklahoma. If we didn't win anything else the rest of the year, we're going to beat them on the road, and we're going to go take it to Dylan Gabriel. Everybody wants to take it to Dylan Gabriel because of the way he left and blah, 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 blah. And Dylan's never said anything but great things about UCF since he's left. Never. Right? It turns into this ridiculous deal where, I'm talking smack, they're talking smack. I don't know, man. To me, and it's not even just OU. Surprises me that you would do that with Oklahoma. You don't pick one of those other teams that hadn't won it 5-6 times in a row in this league and stuff like that. You don't go pick on some of them, like Baylor or maybe Kansas. But you're going to go after OU. Okay, that makes sense, and I get it for the Dylan Gabriel part of it, except for the fact that, dude, this is going to beat the brakes off you in Norman. Your best chance would have been to shut up and come in quietly and then bring it to them, right?
That's not their brand, Jason. Their brand is all up in your face and loud, and they're going to be wearing the gold chains and dancing to the, it's just they're trying to be something bigger, and they're going to figure out after a few years you have to act the part before you are the part. You don't just walk in the room and put a target on your back. That's the wisdom of older programs versus newer.
Well, see, and I agree with that. And here's the other thing about it too. When you start looking at UCF too, look, they did great under Josh Heupel. They were really good under Scott Frost.
Right.
That was when they won their mythical national championship, which was mythical, by the way. Get out of here with that crap. Ain't no national championship, bro. Now, should they have been in the playoff? They have an argument for that, right? But when you beat a team that didn't win the SEC, you can't say that you're national champs. I'm sorry. You don't get to do that. That's not how it works. And it's particularly that one. That national championship, they've given it to teams that have lost the championship game twice in the playoff era. And not even kind of lost, got the shit beat out of them, and they still gave it to the other team. This is a bad one to claim. And especially, again, you don't play everybody like that. You recruit on average at 70 every year. Now, Gus Malzahn, and here's the other thing about it. Gus Malzahn he's been worse at UCF than he ever was at Auburn. He's 18-9 at UCF. 94-47. They got rid of him because he couldn't beat Alabama enough, but they were winning a lot. I mean, he had them on the verge of national championships a couple of times. It's kind of crazy to me that Gus is worse there. And I think he's tried to get out of there every year too. But to hear him talking at Big 12 media days, they're ready to rock and roll. I just don't see it. I don't see it, man. And I think that their big mouth is going to get it. I think that they're going to come into this conference and get their tail kicked around a lot because their mouth preceded them. You don't give bulletin board material to teams that are already going to be ready for you, right?
Right.
Probably not a good idea.
Not the greatest.
It's a maturity thing. It'll come in time.
Oh, we'll see. They like to take shots at all the Florida schools too, which is funny. This is the first time I've ever seen Florida State, Miami, and Florida go to each other's aid when talking about UCF and that whole Big Four thing. I've never seen such a thing. Creators from all three schools were taking up for the other ones. That'd be like, it'd be like seeing BYU say, "Oh yeah, we love Utah." You know what I mean? We love them. Yeah. You wanted to play them. You didn't love them. I know better than that. All right. Yeah, Kent State. I'm going to give them Kent State. They no longer have their coach that, probably could have beaten them there. They're going to get there. I think they probably get a W there. But week 2, unless do you guys have any arguments with that one? Week 1? Kent State?
I don't.
Okay. Week 2, they lose. They're on the road at Boise. I think they lose that game. No, Cody?
At Boise, I think they will lose it. Absolutely. In fact, I'm just going to say this right now. Hang on. Let me finish. Wait a second. UCF, and this is going to be historical. I'm going to make a prediction. You guys can bulletin board it. It's on YouTube. Push it back at me if this happens. But in the first 3 years in the league, UCF is going to have a losing record on the road anywhere east of, let's just say, I don't know, Tennessee.
They're
going to struggle in Texas. They're going to struggle at Iowa. They're going to struggle at Oklahoma. They're going to struggle at all 4 corner schools.
Kansas State.
It is a whole different animal coming west versus going east. Schools in the west can go east better than schools in the east coming west. It completely changes everybody's dynamic. And if you're a conference that has a lot of eastern teams, just ask West Virginia how that works.
That's what I was going to say. West, Virginia.
Right. And I love West Virginia, right? I told Coos the first time I met him, it's like, I absolutely love West Virginia. But it is a struggle coming west. And UCF, maybe even 5 years, they're going to really struggle against teams west of Tennessee.
Well, I think that they're recruiting. If they continue recruiting where they are, which I don't know if you can, if you're not going to win some games.
Well, that's the challenge, right? They're getting
But
a
I
lot
also
now
feel
on
like, listen,
promise.
when you
Yeah.
don't win the AAC on your way out and you're coming in and running your mouth like that, I need to see more out of that than 9 losses by Gus in a couple of years.
Right.
2 years and
Right.
9 losses.
Absolutely.
That's insanity to me. You know, and
Yeah, it's
you know,
true.
they're talking all that smack about Dylan Gabriel, but he didn't lose any games. I think he lost twice there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he got hurt in the one that he was hurt for the last year that he was there. But anyway, yeah. So I think they lose that one. That puts them at 1-1. They're definitely losing to K-State on the road. I think. I mean, I could see them maybe beating Baylor there. I don't think so, though. I don't think so. I think that they go into at Kansas at 1-4 or 1-3. I'm sorry, 1-3 going into Kansas, and they lose there too.
They lose Kansas too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Then
thing
they go to
is what's
Oklahoma, where they're going to beat up on Dylan Gabriel. They say
they actually have a favorable. I mean, honestly, if you look at who they have to play, they have a fairly favorable schedule. The problem is, again, they're going to be traveling to schools they've never been to before. And yeah, I mean, I'm
champions in week 3.
Kansas, Oklahoma on the road, Texas Tech on the road. I mean, yeah. Anyway, whatever.
No, it's not a favorable schedule. They've got K-State in week 3 in freaking Manhattan. They're the defending conference champions, who a lot of people believe are going to win it again. Then they host Baylor. I guess they could. That's maybe a toss up there, depending on what we see.
They could win that game. Everybody will still be healthy and everything.
Jalen Daniels is going to stick it to them.
Yeah.
And they're going to get their ass whipped when they get to Norman. There's no two ways around it. And then, West Virginia going to UCF. I don't know, man. I know that West Virginia is struggling. And at that point, Brown may be gone for all we know.
He should
be possible.
He probably won't. But so you give them a win there, but that's 2-6 at that point.
Right.
Then they go on the road to Cincinnati. Maybe they win that one. Maybe. I don't know. They can't throw. They can't throw it. Maybe they win that one, but I don't know. Then, Okie Light, are you going to go over there and beat them? I mean, I would hope so.
Yeah, of course. Of course. They talk too much.
They do talk too much. The bounce.
Yeah, it is. I'm telling you, that's immaturity. The program will get better, but you can't do things like that.
I'm not sure that Gus is the guy there, though, man. I don't understand why. How do you drop? How do you fall behind there when everybody else is winning there, and you're still in the? It's not like they moved up then.
That's a great question.
It seems like it's just weird to me. How does you should have been getting that recruiting bump like what Kalani's been talking about?
Very much so. Yes.
Anyway, all right. UCF at Tech, they're going to get blasted, and then they finish off the season against the Danas, and they probably beat the Danas.
I think they win that one.
Yeah, I agree.
So we've got them winning 3.
I've got them winning 4.
They could surprise us and win 5, but what's their over under? It's like 7, isn't it?
Yeah, 6.5. So
yeah, that's ridiculous. You got to bet the under.
Oh, all day long. I'm beating the crap out of the under. Beating the crap out of the under on that one. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Folks, what do you guys think in here? Let us know what you think about that. Where are we at on this? I've got them at 3-9. Cody's got them at 4-8. Even if they win 5, they're still under. But
I could see him being 5-7, but it's still not anything what they think it's going to be.
Yeah, stands for Ultimate Cinderella Charlatans. That's pretty good. Like it, chicken. Good stuff. My bad.
Tough sledding.
That's all I know. Travel gonna Dana them up.
Yes, Hank. I love it.
By the way, you got some guys in here that are followers of mine. I wanted to call out really quick.
Tonight we will be
Kirk
talking
Robbins
about the
is here, and Sergeant Pickles is here.
Mm-hmm. Kirk is my
and you got other guys moving in.
Yeah. Hey, we're excited for everybody being here. We're glad everybody's here. We will be going on again tonight at 8:30 for the normal show with Coach, where we will be getting into more of that conference realignment talk, along with some other stuff. We're going to definitely get into Lincoln Riley's recruiting woes. and some other things on that. But we just want to dive in and get these things out of the way, obviously, first. What happens first? Dana gets fired at Houston. Dana finally gets a toupee. I don't know that he needs one, man. If you looked at the thumbnail on this video, that's a great look with it sticking straight up from the back, dude. I mean, have you seen that? Where it's just way up there. He's just having a hell of a day. I love it.
That's custom.
That's a good question, though. I do like that. I don't know. What's up, Swin Lemon? Yeah, thanks for everybody for coming on in, including Kirk. Glad to see you, buddy. He actually is from my hometown as well. Good friend of mine. We used to play a lot of basketball together. He was a very good football player. He played at the University of New Mexico, wide receiver. So Kirk was a stud, man. State champion track guy. Something else. Let's see. Waiting for Gus to use all his timeouts against OU in the final 45 seconds to score so he can cover the spread. That's hilarious. I think they're going to get freaking 100 hung on them. But that's just me. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Reminds me of Woody Harrelson's. I love it. From Kingpin. Love it. All right. Let's move on. Talk to us about these BYU Cougs. They're Bomber. Tell us about this team. What do we expect here? Now, we didn't get into all of it with the other guys. I want to ask you guys, you got your floor, you got your ceiling. You said it earlier. You got what is the ceiling for BYU here?
I think if they catch fire, they can win nine games and then get to a bowl game. So, 9-3, 10-3, I think is absolutely the tip top. The bottom is, I think the over under is either 5.5 or 6.5. That's a crazy number. I think you would take the over on BYU. We'll go through the schedule, and I think I can justify wins and losses for pretty much every game. But it's a mature team. They got players that are going to be in the NFL next year. They'll probably have at least 4 or 5, maybe 5 draft picks next year. But a lot of it's going to come down to the quarterback, Keaton Slovis. You guys know him. USC, Pittsburgh. He's thrown for 11,000 yards. He's thrown for. When he went to Pitt, it was kind of a disaster because he got there, and that day, that guy transferred. That receiver transferred the day he got in. Transferred to USC, lost his receiver, so that kind of got off to an aborted start. He still had an okay season, but he's also older though. So if he gets hurt, now you're dealing with a couple of transfer ends and quarterbacks. That's hard, especially playing big boy football. So if Keaton Slovis stays healthy, the defense is much improved. Jay Hill's bringing in a whole different attitude. They won 8-5 last year. They easily could have gone 10-3. They threw games away with this 3 drop 8 defense. They were doing 3 drop 8 on 2nd and 4. I mean, it was the most insane thing you had ever seen in your life. And so there's threw away games last year left and right.
So they got a new DC then.
Yeah, Jay Hill. He used to be the head coach of Weber State. Very, very successful at Weber State. He originally, I don't know if he started at Utah, but he came from the Utah branch. So we worked under Kyle Whittingham as a DC. And he brought that intensity to BYU, and it's a whole different environment down there. I've been told that the camp this year is like nothing they've had in a long, long time.
Okay.
So, obviously, who was it yesterday? I think it was Clint. Well, right. Etienne came in, stolen from Oklahoma State. We can talk about that too. But I think the most important thing is Clint Foster last night on our roundup show, or sort of cheering for the new Big 12 show, said something very funny. He goes, I've got the August, what did he call it? The August positivity, something to that effect, where everybody's undefeated in August. Everybody's going to win the championship in August. And I think you're going to get a lot of that from BYU fans.
Listen, and obviously, let's go through their schedule real quick, and because we do have to get to Cody's and
sure, absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, let's go ahead. Let's see. Where's that?
We can. Chicken's got a question here. How good is BYU's depth? I would say in most places we're too deep. The places where we're probably the weakest are DB. So it'll be interesting to see how the defense covers that up with pressure. But the linebackers are all stars. Defensive line is stout. Offensive line is fantastic. Top 20 in the country. So, yeah, we'll have to see. So Sua Matea is going to be a top 10 draft pick, I think.
Okay.
Offensive. I think he's a tackle. Anyway.
All right.
I might have his position wrong.
So you said, okay, so they can go either nine wins you think is their ceiling. What's their floor?
Right. It's got to be 7. I don't think they're 2 games. I think there's 2 swing games. I'll give them to you right now.
That's with Slovis getting hurt then.
Well, if Slovis gets hurt, I mean, but every team could say that, right? If every team lost you can't really game plan that. So if they lose their quarterback, yeah, they might win 5 games. That's possible. But if he stays and plays like he played as a freshman at USC, they could win 9-10 games.
Listen, they won 9 games last year at Pitt. As much as JJ didn't like him, but he won 9 games.
Yeah, no, he's not a bad quarterback. He's not the most mobile guy in the world. He's not Jaron Hall. He's not even Zach Wilson, but he's pretty smart. And so they just need to keep him upright. So let's go through these games. So
Sam Houston at BYU, that's obviously a win.
Yeah, the first 2 were auto wins. Yeah,
auto wins. Then you go on the road to Arkansas. Listen, I think
that's tough.
I think that's a tough place to go and win the game. I don't see that really happening. I'm gonna give you an L there, but look, that's I'll listen to you on it.
Again, they ran us out of our own field last year, so there's a bit of a revenge factor there. The defense was non-existent, and BYU still put up 35 points. So if you switch that and you say they hold them to 24 or 27, they could win 38-34, something like that. It's going to be a high-scoring game. I'll tell you that.
Okay. All right.
I'd say the Cougs get it done.
Over the backs. Okay. You're going to push Sean right off right now. Right.
And then they lose to Kansas.
I got them have it at a L. You've got them losing at Kansas and beating Arkansas. Huh? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So that's I've got them losing to Kansas also. But yeah, it's gonna I think they lose that one too. So I've got them at 2-2 right now. You guys have them at 3-1. Okay.
Yeah.
Cincinnati at BYU. I'm going with BYU.
Yeah, that's an auto win.
Yep. Cody.
Yeah.
I
don't know about auto win, but it's a W.
It's a dub. All right. BYU at the Frogs.
Yeah, let's say this. If TCU gets off to a slow start, BYU could catch them on the hop because it's a trap game for TCU. I think the next game is like against Oklahoma or Texas. They play somebody big right after.
No, anyway, Texas doesn't play TCU this year, I don't think.
I'm not sure who they play next, but this game for TCU is a trap game. So I don't think they'll win, but again, just like Arkansas, they could steal it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna give that one to TCU.
I'll take the Horny Toads. I'll take the Horny Toads here.
I'm taking TCU as well. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 3 for me. You've got them at 4-2 now. Texas Tech at BYU. Texas Tech wins.
I think BYU wins that.
Okay.
It being in Provo,
I could see that too. I think
it being in Provo, I think I'll go BYU here.
I'm sticking with Tech there. I'm gonna stick with Tech there. All right, so you guys have them at 5-2. I have them at 3-4.
4-3.
I have them at 3-4.
Okay.
BYU at Texas.
Again, if Taysom Hill runs out the flag, just count it as an auto win. I'm not sure what he's got an off week. Maybe if the NFL worked that out.
I can't help it. I got to go with BYU here. It's just going to happen.
BYU's 4-1 against Texas all time. That's all you got to say. It's scoreboard.
So. Yeah, I'm going BYU.
Yeah, me too. Okay. And then at West Virginia.
That I actually have as a loss. Yeah, I think
give me BYU.
No way.
Give me
dude.
the
gonna be
coup.
gone by now. You're gonna say they're gonna go to Texas and win, and then lose on the road to
Yeah.
West Virginia. Come
Yeah,
on.
I do. Yeah.
Wow.
It
Okay.
is tough to win in Morgantown.
It is.
We've been there before.
Especially at night. If it's a
it's
night
a
game,
Yeah.
if it's a night game, I could sing a different tune.
They're gonna want
I'm
that.
giving.
Hey, by that time in Morgantown, they're gonna want the shit over with by noon.
Okay, well,
They're gonna want it
if
over by
Neil's been
noon.
fired, then it's a whole different deal, right?
Yeah, man.
So
yeah, okay. Then Iowa State at BYU. I'm gonna give BYU that. Obviously,
BYU.
Oklahoma's gonna beat you, bud.
no,
They're gonna get you. They're gonna get you at home.
no,
next week.
no,
They are.
no.
I'm gonna give you Okie Light, but you're not beating Oklahoma.
See, I think we lose to Oklahoma State, but we beat Oklahoma.
Bombers got it right,
ahead, let's
buddy.
get 'em.
Bombers
Get 'em,
got
get
it
'em.
right.
Here we go.
Anyway,
Who is
it's
BYU
gonna be
hard
fun
to play?
year.
Who do you think is some of the questions in here? Who is BYU?
It's
hard to-
Texas. I talked to several players at a luncheon last month, and every one of them, without a doubt, no hesitation. First thing they said was Sam Houston State. That's the first game, right? That's what they're supposed to say. And then I said, no, really, who is it? And every one of them said Texas. Everyone that wasn't Oklahoma. I mentioned Oklahoma. No, everybody is amped up to beat Texas. So
everybody wants to beat Texas. It's a beautiful.
Yeah, I think that's true.
I understand.
It could actually be, if they beat Texas, that could be Sarkisian's last game.
Very well could be.
Yeah.
Well, it could be the game that pushes him out anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think Texas is going to be out of it at the end. I honestly think that Texas is going to struggle with K-State, even though they're at home. I think Texas gets K-State and Tech at home, but I still think that they're going to lose at least one of those. So I could see that. Yeah, I've got you. So that puts you, boy, you are really thinking you guys are going to do great in first year in even. Okay.
Sure, why not?
I've got you guys. So you have, that's 9 for you. Or no, 8 and 4 is what you did.
Yeah,
cool.
I think 8 is very fair.
I got you more like 5 and 7, but
okay, all right. Hey, whatever.
Maybe 6 and 7. Now let's say it's going to be 6 and 7. You're going to beat Okie Light, and then you probably win your bowl game.
Yeah, I mean, whatever turns your crank, I don't really care.
My crank?
Yeah. Whatever turns your crank. You
Whatever
big old
turns your
pirate,
crank.
big old pirate.
Hey,
That
yeah,
Oklahoma
we
game.
we can make that bet. Yeah.
That Oklahoma game, we could do that, right? I could see that. If BYU wins, I'll send you a jersey. If Oklahoma wins, you send me an Oklahoma jersey, and that would be cool. I would do that, absolutely.
Right.
I will never put on an OU jersey, so I don't even want to be involved in that kind of bet.
Bet Oklahoma gets Danid and Provo. Well, they haven't beat them yet. I will give you that. So
yeah, no, BYU's what is it, 2-1 or something?
2-0.
2-0. So
twice 2-0.
And one year we beat you the very first game at the new Dallas Cowboys Stadium and knocked Bradford out of the game. They were number 3 in the country.
I remember.
BYU's good at going on the road. I tell you what, if BYU is ever against a ranked opponent out of conference, first game of the year, always take BYU. The only time they've lost a big game was to Florida State at Florida State. Every other game has been a win, a big one.
Well, it's gonna that ends this year, buddy. That ends this year. All right. Yeah, we will.
All right, y'all chop it up about fun stuff. I gotta go pretend to be productive.
Yeah, no, all right. Yeah, no. I live in
done?
Utah, by the way.
Are you done?
Hank is asking me where I live. I live in Utah.
You got to run now, Cody?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's 4:20, my buddy.
Okay, bud.
Here, hey, listen, all you need to know is we're gonna win 10. You and Bomber can discuss it. Y'all can figure it out.
Wow. Okay.
Let me know.
Right.
Let me know what bet I need to take part in, and I'll be in.
Let him have it. We do love you for getting your 1,000, and you've been doing great on the audio side.
We are very excited for that.
You're a fun watch. But you're full of shit here.
Well,
right.
you know what, Bomber? Hey, Bomber, break that down for me. Talk some sense into this fella.
I like Oklahoma State. For some reason, I've always liked Oklahoma State. I can't
You
tell
know
you
why
why.
you do? Because you've been going on his show every Monday.
No,
It's 'cause
that's
we're-
not
it's-
true.
no.
He disappeared for a month. I've only been on his show once in like 6 weeks.
It's just
So-
because we're more likable. That's all it is.
I like what Sooner Lemon here says. He says OU goes 11-1, we lose to BYU. That guy knows what he's talking about.
Ah, all right,
Maybe-
all right,
maybe-
all right. You're gonna get me. You're
Lemon
gonna
is
get me
one
in
of my
trouble.
panel members. I love him and all, but he's wrong. He's wrong. He's wrong here. And they're yeah. All right, bud. Hey, Cody, thanks for coming in. We'll do a deep dive with you here in a day or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that,
I'm
Cody.
not
I
worried
didn't-
about it. We'll get.
I
we'll
didn't know
talk.
you had to
that we
take
would do it
off. I
that
wouldn't have
way, and you
taken all
said
your
you had
time.
to split, so my bad.
All good. All good, fellas.
All right, buddy. See you later.
Later.
See ya.
So you guys already heard everything he had to say. Me and Bomber don't have to argue about this. I will argue with Okie like Cody about
Okay.
Okie Light. Okay.
There you go.
Because
Fine.
there's no yeah, this guy's funny.
I like what Perfect Cracker says. He says after playing 10 P5s before OU, good luck BYU. I think that's fair, right? That's very
I think
fair.
that's where
criticism.
I think that's where it's going to be tough for you guys because, like I said before, with the rest of them, and the one thing I'll say about BYU is a little different because they've kind of played a Power 5 schedule. This
Oh
isn't
yeah,
their
for
first
years.
time. You know,
Yeah.
when playing in that independent schedule, you know, you haven't just played a bunch of crap. You know,
Right.
so I think that's a little different. So, but I do think that having gone through, I think that you've got a tougher schedule though than what it seems like. I mean, you're going on the road to play Texas. You're going on the
Well, we
road- I
got
mean,
both
you've got some
Texas and
tough road games.
Oklahoma. We got both Texas and Oklahoma. That's the only expansion team that got both schools.
Right.
And I guarantee you that was because those games are gonna draw mad numbers. You're gonna
Of course
be
they will.
4, 5, 6 million, you know. And I know a lot of those are Oklahoma and Texas
Hey,
fans,
do you
but
think that
BYU
Brett
could be 2
Yormark?
million of
We
those.
know that Brett Yormark isn't stupid. But
Right.
I think
He
we
isn't
figured
stupid.
that one out,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah, I
Yeah.
think that one was going to have to happen. Yeah, I think it's going to be fine by Chinese Cody eyes. Yeah, he said it was 420, didn't it? And he does live in Colorado.
I heard him say that. I
Yeah.
heard him say that.
said
I
it
don't know
was
what that
420.
meant, but he did say
Oh, he
it.
said he had to leave at 420 is what he was
Oh,
saying. But
okay.
I'm just giving him a
Alright.
hard time. All right. But see, I mean, look, I think that out of the expansion teams coming in, I think that BYU is the most prepared for what they're about to run into. Right. I think that since he might have been if Luke Fickell was still the coach, but he's not. So
No.
I think that BYU comes. I think that BYU out of those clearly the best brand. You know, it's the most followed brand. I mean, look, you're a national brand. You know, there's LTS folks all over the country that love them some BYU, all over the world that love them BYU. You know, it's just like it's similar to me to Notre Dame. You know, it's similar to Notre Dame with me.
It's
really
same
similar.
level of reach. Yeah, for
Right.
certain.
Yeah. So
And you're going to find these road games are going to be, in a lot of cases, if these teams don't show up with their own people, BYU will flock in and buy those tickets, and you'll have a third of the stadium blue and white. I mean, it's just. But in the Big 12, that's not going to be very common because you got energized fan bases. These groups, these new schools want to be in this league, right? How exciting is the 4 new schools coming in tonight? I mean, next year, right?
I think it's.
I mean,
cool,
those
man.
schools are going to make.
It's like I told
It's
you
too
on
bad
that
you're
show last
leaving. I could imagine how incredible the conference would have been if you guys would have stayed.
Here's something, folks. Make sure that you do come back tonight because something that I want to talk about, and I do want to hit this. We'll end with this. Something I hadn't really considered a whole lot, right? Was that and they've been talking about it just recently. Obviously, with all this realignment, you're losing a power conference, pretty much.
Right.
I mean, there's no way in hell, even if they rebrand the Mountain West, that you leave that as a power conference. There's no way, right?
Right.
Is it going to be the same access as SEC in the Big Ten? And if it is, should it be? Maybe so. You guys need to think about that because here's the deal. If they really are going to blow up what it takes to get in there, what does that mean? Because here's the deal. I got to tell you, I'm not so sure that if you're Florida State and Clemson right now and you could join the Big 12 or you could join the SEC, that you don't want to maybe join the Big 12. Although it's super competitive in the Big 12. Listen, if you get the same amount of access, you're going to get the same amount of guaranteed bids or whatever it is. I don't know what's going to happen. It sounds to me like that may be the thing. If you got Power 3, they're all the same, right?
Right. Yes. Yeah. And if the
So that
ACC
would
blows
mean
up,
I'll get your
it
champions
changes
in.
everything. Yeah.
Right. Now, obviously, I think that the committee is going to still favor the SEC overall. They're going to favor, and they'll favor the Big Ten. But in the end, if you get the guarantees, then that means you're going to get 2 probably. That means half of the field for sure is going to the Power 3, right?
I think it's going to end up with 3 conferences of 20 teams. I don't think I know Moen and Immaculate have talked about going to 24 or 25, right? That might be a final destination, but I don't think we're there yet. I think there has to be this interim where there's this conversion from 5 to 3. And to get there,
right now, that's
you already lost one conference. Now you need another one to sort of blow up. And it just has to sort itself out. I don't think we go to, I think it's 3 conferences of 20 teams. And then there's a 4th conference constituted of the Washington States, Oregon States, let's see, Wake Forest, if they don't go to the Big 12, teams like Boston College, they'll put something together and it'll be a national brand, but it won't be like the other 3.
Listen, I'm just saying at the moment right now, if they blow this thing up in 2026 and they're not ready to go full on to 20 to 24 teams yet,
right?
Which they may not be, but they blow
possible.
up. I could see that this thing. I don't know that it should, but I think that, yeah, could you see a 9-3 Big 12 champ? Do they deserve an auto bid? Absolutely. You know why? Yeah. Because now you're looking at right now, they have 16 teams. This is not something you know. And first off, there's going to be 3 lost teams in this thing.
Absolutely.
Already. There's already going to be 3 lost teams in it. They won't be champions from those other 2 leagues, probably.
That's right.
But there's
is it a 12 team
playoff yet?
Yeah, but is it 12 or 16, right? In 26, they may go to 16. Now you're going to have possibly SEC teams with 4 losses, Big 10 teams with 4 losses, probably 3 losses in the Big 12. But you're going to have those teams that are getting in there. And believe it or not, no matter what you hear from other people, there are going to be upsets. It's not going to be every time Alabama or Auburn, Ohio State, or Georgia, Oklahoma or Texas are going to win those championships. You're going to have some leakage. There's going to be other people come in, and all that does is increase the scope. Keep talking by myself. So how's everybody doing tonight? I love you guys. I'm doing a show tonight. I know Jason's doing a show at, 7:30 Eastern. I'm doing a show at 8:30. It's Big 12 Mafia on YouTube. Look me up. I think I put on a pretty good show. We're going to be talking about the ACC actually and realignment. And then I don't think you guys care, but San Diego State tried to do a coup today. Look it up on Twitter. They tried to cobble together a conference to become a new P5 conference, believe it or not. San Diego State tried to cobble a bunch of teams together. It's nutso stuff. So if you want to talk about anything fun like that, watch my show at 8:30 Eastern. Jason, your show's at 7:30 Eastern, is that right?
8:30 Eastern. Always.
Oh, don't tell me that. How do I always have that wrong? I always think you're an hour ahead of me.
It's never changed.
So stupid.
Okay,
right.
So
I gotta move mine then.
As we said, we'll talk a lot about that tonight, along with we'll be talking about quite a few other things as well. Going to get into the whole USC thing with losing the players that they've been losing. We'll get into realignment, what we've heard today, which I'm going to have to talk to Bomber a little bit about too. But we'll be ready to go with that. And hey, you can jump back and forth between our channels. It won't bother anybody. Just make sure you see both of them,
Yeah, we're on your channel. I want people to go to your show. I keep forgetting the times for some reason. You know what it is? I'll tell you what it is.
8:30 Eastern on Tuesdays. Always.
No, you're right. I know you've told me that several times, and it's my fault for remembering wrong. What I was going to say is, I kept having in my head that you were in the Central Time Zone in my brain, and so I was converting it because that would give me an additional hour. Right. But again, it's totally my fault, and I'm just trying to.
This is why I
we'll
always
make
say
it.
Eastern time. Always say Eastern time with all my
That's what
time,
I do.
make
I
sure
do that.
That nobody's, there's no question about it.
Right.
Because everybody knows what time it is where they are.
Exactly. Yeah, I think I'll just push it a half hour. It'll be fine. It won't be a big deal.
Well, listen, guys, we appreciate everybody. And obviously, Bomber, I enjoy having you in. Guys, we appreciate everybody coming in as well.
Absolutely.
Let me see how many likes we got. I don't know how many we've got so far. I hope we've got
how many views have we got, Jason? How many concurrent people?
Yeah. Let me jump in here. It hadn't been a ton today. This is a little earlier than we're normally going.
Right.
You've had, as of now, let's see.
All right. I'm gonna move my show to 9.
Okay. Yeah, we've had as many as we've only had 112 views here, but we only got 14 likes, folks. And right now we got, we've got 19 in there. We only got 14, 15 likes. Hit the like button, folks. Come on.
Yeah, we got to get that better. That's got to change.
Hit the like button. And we generally don't go this early. This was kind of, last minute thing for me to do this because I want to make sure that we just got some of this stuff out of the way. Otherwise we're just not going to freaking get them all done. And because there's a lot more to do. And, hey, like I said, week 0 is less than 3 weeks from today.
I know. I cannot wait.
I
absolutely cannot wait. It's going to be so exciting, and I hope everybody realizes how big of a deal it is because this college football season could be the craziest ever. Absolutely. The Pac-12 has 7 teams that could all challenge for the tournament the championship of the league. The Big 12 is just bouncing off of TCU, and you got new teams coming in. I mean, it's going to be a crazy season.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. I was giving everybody a little bit of the norm cam. And look, it's going to be I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I think that you're going to see some pretty wild stuff out of that last year of the Pac-12. Unfortunately, it is the last year of the Pac-12, but it is. And, the Big 12, I think you're about to see a heck of a league, man. I really do. 2024 is going to be even cooler for the Big 12 because, and it's going to be cool for Oklahoma and Texas getting to go play in the SEC. But I think that the Big 12, as I told you on your show last night, they got better this week.
Yes, very much.
They'd already kind of, well, we talked about it. They stabilized with the 4 that came in with BYU, the 3 that came in with BYU, but they got better here. And so I think basketball wise, they're going to be, I think that's going to change a lot of things coming up in the future as well, as we talked about. But I think that this is going to be a lot of fun. I can't, as much as you hate to kind of see the old ways go away as much as they are, I think there's some intriguing matchups that are going to come from it. I think as far as BYU and Utah are concerned, I think it's the best thing that could have happened because now you're in the same league, right? And you're going to play that holy war game.
And there is genuine disdain between the two.
Oh, yeah.
It used to be back in the day, there was quite a bit of respect between the schools. It's not like that anymore. It's completely changed.
Yeah, that's just like the rest of the world.
It's a different animal. It's true.
And guys, we will definitely get into the Benny Wiley stuff, shake weight champion of the world, and water aerobics. This is what we do at USC, which is why they're losing all these defensive guys to the Oregon Ducks and Dan Lanning. So good stuff. Good stuff. I just wonder where Tim Prangley is today. I just wonder. I can't believe he didn't pop into my stream today.
Does he do that often?
He did that the other day.
Did he?
Freaking line. Pretty, yeah. Chump.
All right.
He wouldn't come on. He wouldn't come on though. So anyway, all right, folks. We will see you back here in 2 hours. Thanks again, Bomber, for coming in, helping us break down these teams. And we will see you here on the next one, folks.
Sounds good, everybody. Peace.